boys and girls. Okay, for today's lesson, we are looking at student work. I'm going to be looking at things that they did well. Those are going to be our glows. And then the things that they could work on. Those are going to be their grows. How can they grow their learning here? So I'm going to be looking at this student sample from work A. And I'm going to be looking at to see what did they do that makes sense that I want to make sure that I do in my work. And what are some things that are kind of confusing? So when I see this student work, I can see that they drew their number line, and that's good. I know that's one of the strategies we learned. So I'm going to write that here in the glow section that I liked that they have a number line. I also see that they wrote the times that they started and ended, and in between they wrote times too. So I think that looks really great. I can definitely tell what they were thinking as they were skip counting on here. So I'm going to write that they have wrote the times for start and stop. And as I was saying that, I even realized that they were skip counting. So I'm going to write that too. Skip counting. And look at that. They wrote 15, 1 hour, and 30. So that must mean that those are the times in between 8:45 and 9. That's 15 minutes. So they wrote the amount of time that they skip counted by. Now, some things I see that they're missing. I assume that that's 15 minutes, but they never wrote that it was minutes. So I think over here in my grows, they need to be more specific. Need to be specific with the amounts of time. I also don't really know how they ended up with this answer of 2 hours and 45 minutes. I'm glad that they wrote an answer, so I'm going to add that over here, that they did write an answer on the lines. But in my grow, I'm going to write that I don't know how they got it. So they wrote the answer, but in my grow, what did they do? Where is the work on how they got their answer? I'm assuming they added 30 plus 15, but it's not shown anywhere on here. And I know 1 plus 1 is 2, but again, they didn't write it. So if I'm looking at this, where do I think this would be on the criteria rubric? Is it exceeding expectations, meeting expectations, or below expectations? Well, they definitely have an answer, and it seems like their answer makes sense with showing 2 hours, and there are 2 hours. This was 15 minutes, and they wrote 15 minutes. So that definitely shows that what they were doing and that they know what they were doing here. So I don't think it's below. When I think of exceeding expectations, there's 2 suns there. So that means they went above and beyond what they had to do. And this just seems pretty basic. They wrote the number line, they wrote how they were skip counting, they wrote the times, and they wrote their answer. They didn't really do anything else. They didn't write any words to explain their thinking. They didn't show me their work off to the side. So it's not below and it's not exceed. So I think that must be that it's meeting expectations. They did the things they needed to do to get the correct answer. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to say that this is meeting expectations. That's what I want you to do too. On the next pages, you're going to be looking at work just like I did and seeing if you can find some glows and some grows.